1. What is the primary purpose of the Aviation Qualification Test, AQT? A. To assess technical knowledge of aviation systems. B. To evaluate knowledge of aviation regulations. C. To determine competency in aircraft operation. D. To assess leadership and decision-making skills in aviation. 2. Which of the following best describes the role of the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, in the AQT? A. To provide technical specifications for the AQT exam. B. To certify pilots based on AQT scores. C. To ensure compliance with aviation safety standards. D. To design the content of the AQT test. 3. What should be the primary focus when mentoring new aviation students preparing for the AQT? A. Ensuring proficiency in flight maneuvers. B. Emphasizing knowledge of aircraft maintenance. C. Understanding aviation safety and regulatory compliance. D. Teaching time management for test taking. 4. When preparing a curriculum for AQT test preparation, which of the following elements is most important? A. Including advanced flight simulation exercises. B. Focus on theoretical concepts and exam structure. C. Ensuring there is enough practical flight time. D. Offering courses on aircraft mechanics. 5. How can an instructor evaluate whether a student is ready for the AQT? A. By assessing their performance in practice flight exams. B. By reviewing their understanding of aviation terminology. C. By observing their ability to troubleshoot aircraft issues. D. By evaluating their knowledge of aviation regulations and safety procedures. 6. In the context of aviation qualification, what does regulatory compliance primarily refer to? A. Following the flight route as outlined in the AQT. E. Adhering to local aviation laws and regulations. C. Conducting pre-flight checks on the aircraft. D. Implementing company-specific procedures. 7. How can adult learning principles be integrated into an aviation training curriculum for the AQT? A. By using multimedia resources to cater to different learning styles. B. By focusing solely on written exams. C. By offering individualized study plans for each student. D. By ensuring all training is flight-based. 8. Which method is most effective for evaluating a trainee's understanding of complex aviation systems? A. Written exams that test theoretical knowledge. B. Simulated flight exercises and in-flight training. C. Group discussions on aviation regulations. D. Reviewing maintenance logs and repair records. 9. Which evaluation method is most appropriate for assessing a trainee's ability to communicate effectively in high-pressure situations? A. Written communication tests. B. In-flight simulations with emergency scenarios. C. Peer review of training progress. D. Reviewing flight crew communication protocols. 10. What key competencies should be included in any AQT training program? A. Advanced weather analysis skills. B. Knowledge of aircraft systems and troubleshooting. C. Knowledge of aviation marketing strategies. D. Understanding of pilot interviews and hiring practices. 11. What regulatory agency oversees the implementation of aviation qualification standards in the United States? A. Department of Homeland Security. B. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. C. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. D. International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. 12. In terms of curriculum development for AQT preparation, what is essential for ensuring knowledge retention? A. The use of complex, in-depth technical manuals. E. Repeated testing on theoretical concepts. C. practical applications and hands-on flight training. D. Focusing entirely on classroom instruction. 13. How can an instructor best assess a student's understanding of aviation safety regulations for the AQT? A. Through multiple-choice questions focused on regulations. B. By conducting flight simulations involving safety protocols. C. By assigning written essays on safety issues. E. By reviewing aircraft safety records. 14. What is the most effective way for instructors to monitor student progress during AQT preparation? A. Regularly scheduled exams covering all topics. B. Providing feedback after each flight lesson. C. Creating peer mentorship programs. D. Offering additional lectures on theoretical subjects. 15. When mentoring the student for the AQT, which strategy promotes long-term retention of material? A. Encouraging memorization of all test materials. B. Engaging the student in reflective discussions about aviation topics. C. Offering repetitive drills on the same topics. D. Focusing on the student's performance in written tests. 16. Which of the following is a key factor in evaluating the effectiveness of an aviation training program for the AQT? The speed at which students complete training. E. The diversity of the training content. C. The success rate of students on the AQT exam. D. The number of hours spent in flight simulations. 17. Which adult learning principle can best help a student apply their knowledge to real-world aviation situations? A. Using visual aids to explain concepts. B. Relating new information to their previous experience. C. Focusing on theoretical aspects only. D. Encouraging rote memorization. 18. What type of assessment is most appropriate for evaluating a student's ability to follow aviation procedures in the AQT? A. Oral exam focusing on procedures. B. Written exam on procedural theory. C. Practical flight assessment based on procedures. D. Group discussions on procedural approaches. 19. When assessing a student's performance on the AQT, which skill is essential for ensuring they can handle emergency situations? A. Aircraft navigation. B. Understanding aircraft maintenance. C. Emergency response decision-making. D. Customer service skills. 20. In terms of curriculum development for the AQT, how can an instructor balance technical knowledge with regulatory requirements? A. By focusing solely on regulations. B. By emphasizing hands-on training without theoretical background. C. By integrating both technical training and regulatory compliance into each module. D. By providing separate courses for regulations and technical knowledge. 21. Which of the following best describes the process of mentoring a new aviation student preparing for the AQT? A. Encouraging students to study independently without guidance. B. Providing personalized feedback on performance and offering tailored advice. C. Focusing only on theoretical instruction. D. Offering a one-size-fits-all approach to training. 22. What is the role of simulation in AQT training? A. To replicate real-world flying conditions in a controlled environment. B. To test students on theoretical knowledge. C. To practice aircraft maintenance tasks. D. To evaluate regulatory compliance without practical flight experience. 23. Which evaluation method is best suited for measuring a student's ability to handle a complex aviation scenario during the AQT? A. Multiple-choice questions on aviation theory. B. Written essays on complex situations. C. In-flight simulations of real-world scenarios. D. Group discussions of potential outcomes. 24. In AQT preparation, how can an instructor effectively integrate adult learning principles? A. By using complex theoretical lectures exclusively. By providing real-world scenarios that engage the student's prior experiences. C. By focusing only on written materials and exams. D. By offering lengthy flight training without feedback. 25. What key aviation concept should a student master to excel in the AQT? A. Understanding flight dynamics and aircraft controls. B. Knowledge of aviation history. C. Familiarity with aircraft manufacturing processes. D. Awareness of global aviation regulations. 26. How should an instructor address students who struggle with the AQT material? A. By providing additional independent study resources. By offering tailored one-on-one support and targeted exercises. C. By focusing entirely on other areas of the AQT. D. By allowing the student to work independently on these systems. 27. In AQT curriculum development, what is most crucial for success? Delivering long lectures with minimal student interaction. B. Offering frequent assessments and interactive exercises. C. Prioritizing theory over practical application. D. Focusing on memorization of technical manuals. 28. Which of the following is a primary responsibility of an AQT instructor during flight simulations? A. To assess the student's ability to maintain aircraft speed. B. To ensure that the student understands and follows safety procedures. C. To provide technical support for the aircraft. D. To conduct regulatory inspections on the aircraft.